Hello there, my name is Chang and I'm always climbing. In today's video, I'm just gonna go over some terminology when it comes to climbing. Let's get started. Crux is the hardest individual move or sequence of moves in a climb. The crux could be at the bottom, in the middle, or at the top. It's typically just a few short moves or just one move in general. Red point crux. The red point crux is the hardest section or move on the climb starting from the bottom of the climb. For example, if the crux is the first part of the climb and then you climb through it and now your body's tired and then you get towards the top where now because you're tired, the top section is the hardest part of the climb. It is henceforth the red point crux. In isolation, the red point crux is not harder than the actual crux. Isolation is any individual parts or moves of a climb that you have done or are currently working on. For example, if a boulder has 10 moves and you've done the first move, second move, third move, but you've done it all one at a time, you've done all those moves in isolation. Isolation can also refer to slightly more moves done in bigger lengths. You might sometimes hear people say, I've done all the moves in isolation, meaning they've done all the individual moves on the climb, but just haven't pieced it together. Lengths. Lengths are just like isolations, but much longer, typically. If a boulder has 10 moves, and you've done 1 through 5, you've done the first link. And then you've done 5 through 10, you've done the second link. And now you just need to link them together in order to do the send. Of course, sometimes links can also just refer to individual moves. Beta. Beta is how to climb the climb. It is a catch-all phrase for the techniques, the mentality, and the execution that you use or someone else has done in order to send the climb. Micro beta is very nuanced beta that involves small adjustments or way of thinking to help you send the boulder that is typically not visible on first look. For example, the micro beta is instead of holding it here, you hold it here. Or instead of holding it with the front 3, you hold it back 3. Beta spray or spraying beta is when someone gives you unsolicited advice on how to do the climb. It can be good, it can be bad. Projects. A project is a climb that you're currently working on. Projects can last anywhere between one session to multiple years. Heartbreaker is typically when you start from the very start of the climb and you climb all the way to the top, except you fall off right at the finishing moves. It's a heartbreaker. A dab is when any part of your body makes contact with something that is not the climb itself. For example, if your feet touches the pad while you're climbing the climb, that's known as a dab. Send. Send is when you're able to complete a climb from the bottom to the top. You have sent it, you send. Send go is something you announce right before you're about to send it. It is commonly used as, this is gonna be the send go, watch me. It is just a proclamation of your yet to happen vertical ascension. Send train is a interesting phenomenon in climbing where once one person has sent, it becomes automatically easier for every other climber to also send the problem. For example, if I send this climb that we're all projecting, automatically the person that goes behind me will have a boost of something that will also allow him or her to send it as well. And the send train will continue down the line. Send train. Goes. It is the amount of attempts that you have on a particular climb. It is commonly used like, for this climb, I probably have 5 good goes before I'm burnt. Blank moves in. This term is typically used like with a number to represent blank and moves in to represent moves in. This means you start the climb after the actual start holds. For example, if this climb starts here, but you're projecting it, you might want to start 1 move in so that you could work out the rest of the sequence. Of course, you can also start 2 moves in, 3 moves in, 4 moves in, so on and so forth. So sometimes you might hear someone say, I've done the problem 2 moves in. Basically meaning they just haven't done the first 2 moves yet, but they've done everything afterwards. Top out. For outdoor bouldering, most of them will end up with a top out where you have to mantle on top. Simply meaning you have to go from a vertical position into a horizontal position on top of the boulder, stand up and establish your position, and that's how you know you sent the climb. Sketchy is any climb that has a move or sequence of moves that could result in some bodily harm to yourself in a way that seems very scary. Heady is used when you have to do a part of a climb that isn't necessarily hard, but you need to have a lot of mental fortitude to do. Think is very heady, because if you fall because you're too much inside your head, you're probably gonna bust your stuff. Big. Big refers to a move that requires a lot of reach and span of the body. Now, of course, big is relative to the size of the climber, but typically speaking, if you have to go from here to here, it's a big move.